The void of space was eerily still, a canvas of pinprick stars stretching infinitely in every direction. Amid the quiet vastness, a convoy of diplomatic vessels drifted steadily through the shadow of a nearby moon. Their engines hummed softly, a sound meant to signal peace, not prepare for war. Inside the lead ship, Ambassador Lyra Core adjusted her headset, her voice resolute despite the tension etched on her face. "We come in peace. Humanity seeks dialogue, not conflict." The Dominion warship looming on the comm screen was silent. Too silent. Then, without warning, the sleek, insectal shape of the Dominion vessel unleashed a barrage of plasma fire. The convoy's shields flared and cracked under the onslaught, the dull boom of impacts resonating through the ship. "Evasive maneuvers!" Lyra shouted, gripping the edge of the console. But the convoy's unarmed vessels were no match for the warship's firepower. One by one, ships erupted into bright blossoms of flame, debris scattering into the cold dark. Aboard the Dominion warship, Supreme Overlord HFY observed the destruction with clinical detachment. "Pathetic," he sneered, his mandibles clicking. "These humans dare step into Dominion space? Teach them the price of such insolence." Several light years away, aboard the UNS Resolute, alarms blared. Captain Ilara Voss was already in the command chair, her expression a mask of calm determination as her crews scrambled to their stations. "Report," she ordered. Her tactical officer, Lieutenant Rao, glanced up from his console. "Distress signal from the core diplomatic fleet. Dominion forces have engaged them near the Aegis cluster. They're outnumbered and outgunned." "Plot a course," Ilara said without hesitation. "Maximum speed." Rao hesitated. "Captain, it's a Dominion warship. They'll see us coming." Ilara allowed herself a thin smile. "Not if we play this right. Engage the stealth systems. Let's remind them why underestimating humans is always a mistake." The Resolute's engines flared to life, the sleek ship vanishing into the darkness like a shadow slipping between stars. By the time the Resolute arrived, the battlefield was a graveyard. Shattered remnants of the diplomatic fleet drifted aimlessly, their broken hulls a stark testament to Dominion firepower. Only one ship remained, its shields flickering weakly as plasma bolts rained down. "Scan for survivors," Ilara ordered, her voice tight. "Prepare for combat." "Captain," Rao said, his tone grim. "We're picking up multiple life signs aboard the lead ship. The ambassador is still alive." Ilara's jaw tightened. "Good. Let's keep it that way. Helm, bring us within range, quietly." The Resolute slipped through the debris field, its cloaking systems masking its approach. On the bridge, the tension was palpable, every crew member acutely aware of the stakes. The Dominion warship loomed ahead, a hulking predator to their lean hunter. "Target acquired," Rao said. Ilara leaned forward. "Lock weapons. Aim for their engines. I want them dead in the water." The Resolute's torpedoes launched silently, streaking across the void. The first struck true, slamming into the Dominion warship's aft section and sending a shockwave rippling through its hull. The second followed moments later, crippling its main thrusters. On the Dominion bridge, HFY snarled as the lights flickered. "What?" Before he could finish, the Resolute decloaked, its sleek, angular form suddenly visible against the stars. A volley of railgun fire followed, tearing through the warship's remaining defenses. "This is Captain Ilara Voss of the UNS Resolute," Ilara said over the comms, her voice sharp and unyielding. "You are in violation of interstellar law and have attacked a diplomatic convoy. Stand down immediately, or we will finish what we started." HFY's mandibles clicked in frustration. "You dare threaten the Dominion? You're nothing more than primitive apes clinging to your insignificant rock." Ilara's lips twitched in a humorless smile. "Primitive apes? Maybe. But these apes just disabled your warship." The Dominion ship fired a desperate salvo, but the Resolute's shields absorbed the impact with ease. Ilara wasted no time. "Return fire. Target their weapon systems." The bridge shuddered as the Resolute unleashed another barrage. Sparks flew aboard the Dominion ship as consoles exploded, leaving HFY and his crew scrambling to regain control. "Captain," Rouse said, "they're powering down. Looks like they've had enough." Ilara nodded. "Good. Helm, bring us alongside the surviving convoy ship. Deploy med teams and start evacuating survivors." As the Resolute moved into position, Ilara turned her attention back to the Dominion vessel. "Patch me through to their commander." Moments later, HFY's snarling visage filled the comm screen. "This isn't over, human," he hissed. Ilara met his glare with icy calm. "You're right. It's just beginning. And if you ever think about targeting a human convoy again, remember today. Because next time, I won't leave you a ship to limp home in." She cut the transmission before he could respond, her focus already shifting back to the rescue effort. On the view screen, escape pods launched from the battered convoy ship, their occupants drifting toward the safety of the Resolute. "Status?" Ilara asked. "Med teams report all survivors accounted for," Rouse said. "The ambassador is stable." "Good work," Ilara said. "Let's get out of here before reinforcements arrive. Helm, set a course for the nearest Federation outpost. Maximum speed." As the Resolute slipped back into the shadows, Ilara allowed herself a moment to breathe. The Dominion had underestimated humanity once again, and they had paid the price. But she knew this was only the beginning. The Dominion's arrogance wouldn't fade overnight, and the battles to come would test humanity's resolve in ways she could only begin to imagine. For now, though, they had won. And that was enough. The conference room aboard the UNS Resolute was tense, the air crackling with unspoken conflict. Captain Ilara Voss stood at the head of the table, flanked by holographic projections of alien leaders. Each figure represented a potential ally, though none looked particularly pleased to be there. To her left hovered the image of Commander Skron of the Zarans, his scaled face impassive but his golden eyes sharp with distrust. The Zarans were a warrior race, fiercely independent and proud. Their fleet was formidable but rarely lent to anyone else's cause. Across from him was Envoy Khalid Nauther of the Kalrith, a pale, humanoid figure with a serene expression. Known for their advanced technology and pacifist principles, the Kalrith had remained neutral in nearly every galactic conflict. Their presence here was a testament to how dire the situation had become. Ilara began without preamble. "You've all seen the Dominion's movements. Their fleets aren't just preparing for another skirmish, they're planning a full-scale invasion. Humanity can't stop them alone, and neither can any of you." Commander Skron's voice was a low growl. "The Zarans have faced the Dominion before. We've defended our borders without your help, Captain. What makes you think we need you now?" Ilara met his gaze unflinchingly. "Because this isn't about defending borders anymore. The Dominion isn't just targeting humans, they're consolidating power across the galaxy. If they succeed, no one will be left to resist. Not humans. Not Zarans. Not Kalrith." Nauther folded his hands, his tone calm but firm. "Even if what you say is true, Captain, the Kalrith cannot condone violence. Our people have sworn to uphold peace, no matter the cost." "And what happens?" Ilara countered. "When the Dominion decides that your refusal to fight makes you easy prey? They won't respect your neutrality, Envoy. They'll take what they want, and they'll do it without hesitation." The room fell silent, tension mounting like a coiled spring. Ilara knew she was pushing, but time was running out. Every moment they spent arguing was another moment the Dominion drew closer. Before she could continue, an alarm blared, cutting through the quiet. The ship's AI, a crisp and neutral voice, spoke over the intercom. "Unidentified vessels approaching at high velocity. Probable Dominion scout party." Ilara straightened, her command instincts taking over. "Rao report." Lieutenant Rao's voice crackled through the calm. 3 Dominion cruisers, Captain. They've spotted us." Ilara turned back to the room, her expression grim. "Looks like we don't have time for debates. If we don't work together, none of us are getting out of here alive." The bridge of the Resolute was a hive of activity as Ilara took her seat. "Status?" Dominion cruisers are closing fast, Rouse said. ETA, 2 minutes. Jaran and Calrith's ships are still on standby. Elara opened a channel to the conference room. Scran, Nauther, this is it. If you want to survive, we need to coordinate. What's it going to be? There was a long pause before Scran's voice came through, his tone grudging. The Jaran fleet will engage. But don't think this makes us your allies, Captain. I'll take what I can get, Elara replied. Nauther? The Calrith envoy hesitated. We will provide defensive support only. Do not expect us to fire on the enemy. Elara suppressed a sigh. Understood. Rao, relay the battle plan. Zarans take point. Calrith ships provide shield coverage. The Resolute will handle flanking maneuvers. The crew snapped into action, and Elara's voice cut through the din. Helm, take us into position. Let's show them what we're made of. The first Dominion cruiser fired as it entered range, a burst of plasma scorching through the void. The Jaran fleet met the attack head-on, their sleek, angular ships unleashing a counter-barrage that lit up the battlefield. The Calrith vessels hung back, projecting shimmering shields that absorbed much of the Dominion's return fire. Elara, Scran growled over the comms. Your flanking maneuver better be worth it. It will be, she replied. Rao, target their lead cruiser's thrusters. Disable their mobility. The Resolute darted through the chaos, its cloaking systems keeping it hidden until the last possible moment. With precision strikes, it crippled the Dominion cruiser's engines, leaving it vulnerable to the Jaran onslaught. Direct hit! Rao called out. Their lead ship is immobilized. Scran's laughter rumbled through the comms. Not bad for a human. Let's finish them off. The Jaran ships moved in, overwhelming the stranded cruiser with concentrated fire. 1 down, 2 to go. The Dominion forces retaliated fiercely, their remaining cruisers targeting the Calrith ships in an attempt to break their shield network. Nauther's voice came through, tense but steady. Our defenses won't hold much longer. Elara's mind raced. The Calrith shields were buying time, but they wouldn't last under sustained fire. She needed a diversion. Helm, she said, bring us in close to their second cruiser. We're going to draw their attention. The Resolute surged forward, emerging from stealth to deliver a punishing salvo to the Dominion cruiser's flank. The enemy ship veered toward them, redirecting its fire. They're locked onto us, Captain, Rao warned. Good, Elara said. Keep them focused on us. Scran, now's your chance. The Jaran fleet didn't hesitate. With the Dominion cruiser distracted, they launched a coordinated strike, obliterating its shields and tearing through its hull. 2 down, Scran reported, satisfaction evident in his tone. That left 1. The final Dominion cruiser was already retreating, its captain clearly realizing the battle was lost. But Elara wasn't about to let them report back. Rao, disable their communications. Scran, can you intercept? With pleasure, the Jaran commander replied. The Resolute fired a precise EMP burst, scrambling the Dominion ship's systems. Moments later, Jaran fighters swarmed it, forcing a surrender. As the battlefield fell silent, Elara finally allowed herself a breath. Status? Minimal damage to Allied forces, Rao said. The Dominion cruisers are neutralized. Elara opened a channel to the conference room. Scran, Nauther, I think we've proven our point. Together, we can stand against the Dominion. Separately, we'll fall. Scran's voice was grudging but firm. The Zarans will consider an alliance. But don't mistake this for friendship, Captain. Nauther's tone was softer. The Calrith cannot fight, but we will share our technology. It seems we have no choice but to stand together. Elara nodded. It wasn't a resounding victory, but it was a start. And in this war, even a small step forward could make all the difference. Set a course for the next rally point, she ordered. This fight is just beginning. The war room aboard the UNS Resolute was alive with tension. Holographic displays flickered, projecting the Dominion fleet's formation, a monstrous armada with their flagship, the Malediction, at its center. The Allied forces, Jaran warships, Calrus shielding cruisers, and humanity's lean fleet, were dwarfed in comparison. Captain Ilara Voss stood at the head of the room, addressing the assembled commanders. The Dominion's fleet outnumbers us 3-1. A direct assault would be suicide. Our only chance lies in exploiting their weakness, their flagship's core relay. If we can disable it, the entire fleet will be paralyzed. Commander Skron crossed his scaled arms, his golden eyes narrowing. You're gambling that they won't anticipate such a move. The Dominion is arrogant, but they're not fools. They won't see it coming, Ilara said. They've never faced a coalition like this, nor tactics as unorthodox as ours. The Calrus shields will protect our advance. Jaran warships will create a diversion while the Resolute and a strike team infiltrate the flagship. Anve Nauther's calm voice interjected. Our shielding vessels will hold, but not indefinitely. If your strike team fails, Captain, the Dominion will overwhelm us. We won't fail, Ilara replied, her tone resolute. Because failure isn't an option. The room fell silent, the weight of the moment settling over them. After a beat, Skron grinned, a toothy expression of grim determination. Then let's give them hell. The battlefield erupted into chaos as Allied ships surged forward. The Jaran fleet engaged first, their angular vessels darting into the Dominion's ranks like blades. Explosions flared as plasma fire streaked across the void, the enemy fleet scrambling to respond. Shields holding at 90%. Nauther's voice reported over the comms, his usually serene tone tinged with strain. On the Resolute's bridge, Ilara's eyes were fixed on the flagship in the distance, its massive form bristling with weaponry. Rao, status on the infiltration team? They've docked with the malediction, Rao replied. Commander Tanis reports they're moving toward the core relay. Good, Ilara said. Maintain our course. I want us in position to extract them the moment they're done. As the Resolute maneuvered through the chaos, it fired precise volleys at enemy ships, disabling them without slowing its advance. The Dominion fleet was focused on the Jaran diversion, just as planned. Enemy vessels are regrouping, Rao warned. They're starting to realize what we're doing. Ilara leaned forward. Then we'd better pick up the pace. Helm, increase thrust. Keep us on a collision course with that flagship. Inside the malediction, Commander Tanis led the infiltration team through narrow corridors, their boots echoing against the metallic floor. The air was thick with tension, every corner a potential ambush. Core relay is 3 decks down, Tanis said, checking his scanner. Stay sharp. They moved swiftly, dispatching Dominion soldiers with ruthless efficiency. The Dominion, caught off guard by the boldness of the attack, was slow to respond, but the resistance grew fiercer as they neared their target. Tanis's calm crackled. Captain, we've encountered heavy resistance. Ilara's voice was calm but firm. You're almost there, Commander. Keep pushing. We'll cover your exit. Tanis nodded to his team. You heard the captain. Let's move! The final corridor was a killing ground, Dominion soldiers entrenched behind barricades. Plasma fire lit up the air as the team fought their way forward, inch by agonizing inch. One soldier fell, then another, but Tanis pressed on, his focus unwavering. At last they reached the core relay, a massive, pulsating construct of energy and machinery. Tanis placed the charges with practiced precision, his hands steady despite the chaos around him. Charges set, he reported. Detonation in 60 seconds. Understood, Ilara replied. We're in position for extraction. Get out of there. The Resolute hovered dangerously close to the flagship, its shields flaring as Dominion fire rained down. On the bridge, the tension was palpable. Shields at 40%, Rao said. We can't hold this position much longer. We won't have to, Ilara said. Tanis status? We're on our way, came the reply, punctuated by the sound of gunfire. ETA 30 seconds. Ilara's grip on the command rail tightened. Every second felt like an eternity as the team raced against time. At last, the infiltration shuttle broke free from the flagship, streaking toward the Resolute. "They're clear!" Rao reported. Elara didn't hesitate. "Helm, get us out of here! Detonation in 5, 4. The explosion tore through the malediction, a brilliant burst of light and energy that sent shockwaves rippling across the battlefield. The Dominion fleet faltered, their ships suddenly adrift as the flagship's core relay failed. Cheers erupted on the bridge, but Elara's focus remained sharp. "Signal the fleet! Take out the remaining Dominion vessels before they recover." The Allied forces surged forward, their combined might overwhelming the now disorganized Dominion fleet. One by one, enemy ships were disabled or destroyed, the tide of battle turning decisively in their favor. As the last Dominion ship fled, the battlefield fell silent. Elara stood at the center of the bridge, her crew buzzing with relief and triumph around her. "Status?" she asked. "Enemy fleet is retreating," Rao said. "We've won." A faint smile touched Elara's lips. "Good. Signal the fleet to regroup. Let's assess the damage and tend to the wounded." The holographic displays flickered as the Allied commanders appeared, their expressions ranging from exhaustion to exhilaration. Scrawn's voice was a low rumble. "You were right, Captain. Together, we're unstoppable." Nouther inclined his head, his tone serene once more. "The Calruth will honor this alliance. Today, we stood together as equals." Elara nodded, a sense of pride swelling in her chest. "This victory is only the beginning. The Dominion will return, but when they do, they'll find a galaxy united against them." As the Resolute and its allies drifted away from the battlefield, the stars stretched endlessly before them, a reminder of the vast challenges yet to come. But for the first time, Elara felt a glimmer of hope. Humanity had proven its worth, and the galaxy would never be the same.